Oh, okay. All right. It's just about 1 o'clock, so I'm calling the December 15th, 2025 meeting of the Albemarle County Architecture Review Board to order. Can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Stoner,
Here.
Mr. Hancock,
Here.
Mr. Matsuno,
Here.
Mr. Henningson,
Here.
and Mr. Vanderworth.
Here.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Today's meeting is a hybrid meeting. The public may access and participate in the meeting electronically. Instructions for doing so are posted on the Albemarle County website at the Albemarle County calendar. The public has real-time audiovisual access to this meeting over Zoom and real-time audio access over telephone, both as provided in the lawfully posted meeting notice. This meeting is being recorded and will be made available on the county's website calendar. This meeting is a public record and subject to disclosure under the Freedom of Information Act. All speakers, when it is your turn to speak, please first state your name for the record. Applicants who are making presentations, note that your presentation is limited to a total of 15 minutes, which you can divide among your team members. Staff will let you know when the 15 minutes are up. If applicants in the meeting room have team members attending virtually who will need to present, please make that known when you come to the podium. Everyone who is participating virtually, please mute your microphone until it is your turn to speak. Do any ARB members have anything to disclose? No.
I guess the only thing to disclose is just that my firm worked on the Riverside project, but I don't believe it impacts my ability to participate in that discussion.
All right, thank you.
Yes, I'm gonna recuse myself from the Riverside sign plan application. I work for the UVA Foundation. It's a UVA related project, so just out of an abundance of caution. Thanks.
I have no disclosures. All right, me either. So are there any members of the public that want to make a comment about a project?
Not at this time.
Thank you. We don't have any consent agenda items today, so I'll move right into our two regular review items. First of which is ARB 2025-28 Riverside Comprehensive Sign Plan.
Thanks. I'm gonna share. Okay, this is a proposal to revise the approved comprehensive sign plan criteria for the Riverside Center, which is located on the east side of Route 29 North, across from the Doubletree Hotel and south of the South Fork of the Rivanna River. The original comprehensive sign plan was approved for this development in May of 1999, and it limited wall signs to channel letters with white faces in the brick sign bands above the canopies. Beginning in 2013, buildings in the development were renovated to accommodate medical offices. The renovations have changed the exterior architectural features such that some of the sign criteria are no longer relevant, and UVA Health would like to incorporate its brand colors into the wall signs. The applicant's proposal would increase the types, colors, and locations for signs in the development. The entrance corridor sign guidelines say that those features should be limited to provide for a unified design and to maintain simplicity and reserve along the corridor. So we'll take a look at each of those features in just a little more detail. First, let's look at the sign type. The guidelines state that signs in a multi-business center should use a single sign type. The guidelines state also that channel letters are preferred for wall signs. Both channel letters and panel signs are proposed for this development. Channel letters would still be appropriate for the brick sign bands, and panel signs would be more suited to the entrance features than channel letters. Panel signs are also proposed for the southern wing of building 2325. And given that that wing has a different building form and materials, and that it also has limited visibility from the street, we think that panel signs are okay in that location as well. So in this case, we can support the two sign types if they're limited to the locations just described. The submittal includes a drawing that shows the sign locations for building 2325. Those are the red rectangles are showing those possible sign locations. An approved comprehensive sign plan for this development would include both buildings 2325 and 2335, but we think those sign locations would also be appropriate for building 2335. The existing comprehensive sign plan limits letter colors to white and allows multiple colors for graphics as a result of a 2015 ARB action. And that action was for any graphics in multi-business centers when letter faces are limited to a single color. The applicant proposes 3 letter colors and has clarified that this means 3 colors per sign. 3 colors per sign with multiple signs does not support compatibility or unity in the center, but limiting letter colors to the 3 shown in the exterior sign package, that's the white, blue, and orange, that could provide a sufficient level of coordination. Multiple colors are also proposed for the panel backgrounds, including anodized aluminum, brushed aluminum, and a color to coordinate with any sign. Color to coordinate with any sign would allow an unlimited number of colors and would not support coordination throughout the center. But limiting panel background colors to the anodized aluminum, brushed aluminum, or other similar colors would be appropriate. This table summarizes the criteria that staff supports for the comprehensive sign plan. And just to summarize those, it includes channel letter signs in the brick sign bands with halo illumination, panel signs on the entrance features and on the southern wing of building 2325 with no illumination, panels with anodized aluminum, brushed aluminum, or similar colors for backgrounds, and letter faces in white, blue, or orange with multicolored graphics. Happy to try to answer any questions you have.
All right, thanks a lot for that presentation, Margaret. Guess we'll start with Frank Stoner. Do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. Thanks, Margaret.
Dade?
Thanks, Margaret. No questions.
Tara?
Margaret, I have one question. So for the sign criteria, if they're approved for the use of by this current applicant, they would apply for any other future user as well, right?
That's right.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, I don't have any questions. So if the applicant has a presentation, now would be the time for that.
Hi, all pitching. I don't. I think what Mark presented was perfect.
All right, thank you. So I guess we'll see if any board members have any questions for the applicant. Dade?
No questions. Thanks.
Frank Stoner?
No, no questions. Thank you.
Tara?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry to disappoint, but I don't have any questions either. Are there any members of the public that want to make a comment?
Not at this time.
Thank you. So the ARB will now go into discussion. I guess we'll start with Tara, if you have any comments.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate the applicant's presentation. I think that the criteria that Margaret had outlined that staff recommends seem like appropriate adjustments. I think the examples provided coordinate well and are part of a thoughtful branding scheme. So and as far as the logo and graphics and the multiple colors, I think that given that it's limited to small logo boxes and graphics, I think that the use of additional colors and parts of the logo portions are appropriate. So I don't have any changes or suggestions over staff's recommendations. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Dade?
Yeah, like Taro, I appreciate the proposal. I appreciate especially Margaret's close review and outline of the criteria that I'm glad the applicant finds acceptable. It seems like it is going to result in an orderly and coordinated sign package with the modifications proposed by staff.
All right, thank you. Frank?
Did you have something you wanted to say? Just
No, I just didn't know that I should stand.
okay. I just did.
Disrespect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an early package. It is UVA colors. You know, feel it would be right to vote against UVA. Yeah, I think it's thoughtfully designed, and yeah, I'm supportive.
All right, thanks. Yes, I totally agree. I think the staff recommendations are reasonable, and the applicant seems fine with them, and seems like a good situation all around. So if we could take a look at the recommended motion.
The recommendation is for approval of the revised comprehensive sign plan as it was outlined in the staff report.
So I don't see a need for any changes to the motion, but
I'll second that.
Quite a motion.
Well, okay, let me back up a little bit.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second it.
Mr. Stoner,
Aye.
Mr. Hancock,
Abstain, recuse, one of those. Abstain,
Mr. Matsuno,
Aye.
Mr. Henningsen,
Aye.
Mr. Vanderworth.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
It's so our second regular review item is ARB 2025-29 City Church.
Okay. This is a proposal to construct a multi-use facility adjacent to the existing church that's located at 1010 Rio Road East across from Belvedere Boulevard. The church building predates the designation of the entrance corridor. A special use permit was approved for this expansion in early 2025, and the ARB reviewed and recommended approval of the initial site plan for this development in October of this year. The new building is proposed to be located off the back northwest corner of the church. The length of the new building is oriented towards the corridor. The proposed building is similar in height to the existing church. Its simple rectangular form and gabled roof are similar to that of the church. And the proposed building incorporates a water table that uses brick like that of the church. However, most of the other features of the design are different. That includes the white walls, the black roof, the size and orientation of the windows. The result is a development that has a less unified appearance. We've recommended changes to the materials, colors, and/or details of the new building to increase compatibility, with a focus on the roof and wall color changes to reduce the stark contrast between the church and the addition. Most of the interior of the proposed building is to be used as a gym, so much of the building's elevations are without doors and windows. Relief is provided by the downspouts and the reveals in the stucco. And the rendering shows some plants at the base of the building that do not appear on the site plan. Adding plants there could help reduce blankness, as would adding another tree in the parking lot in front of the building. Adding those plants are among our recommendations. This is a review of the architectural design today. Your action would be to provide comments and recommendations for the next submittal. Be happy to try to answer any questions that you have.
All right, thanks a lot, Margaret. We'll start with Frank Stoner.
I guess the only question I'd have, Margaret, is in terms of other potential materials, do we offer suggestions or simply, or do you have suggestions?
I did not make any specific suggestions. I think that really the color is what seemed to us to be making the most contrast. So sort of focusing on that as maybe the primary change to be made.
Thanks.
All right, thanks. Dade?
No questions. Thanks for your report, Margaret.
Frank?
I don't have any questions. Thanks, Margaret.
Tara?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any questions either. So if the applicant has a presentation, now would be the time for it.
Hi, guys. I'm John Daly, Chris Becker. I'm with Mather and Daly Architects. We're providing assistance with the design and the ARB process here in Albemarle County, and we are admittedly new to the entry corridor overlay district and the requirements. So I just wanted to get up here and say a few words and see if we could clarify a few things. Chris, did you want to say anything first? No. Okay. I wanted to point out with the colors. I mean, the points are certainly taken. Me and Chris were just going through some images of some nearby properties with some very similar colors. So we have the brick base that's tying in with the church, but then those colors are sort of tying in with the surroundings. And reading through the ARB guidelines seem to really push that, tying in with the surroundings. It is a gym, so well, it's a gym and there's a kitchen in it and some offices, so it's that kind of dictates what the shape is. But we did come in with reveals with some windows up high. A lot of gyms don't have windows, but we did that. We connected the two buildings with a colonnade, which was a specific item requested in the ARB guidelines. This building is set back from the road about 200 feet. It's about a story or so lower than the road. And there is a good bit of vegetation required to like be in the parking lot area. So it's pretty far back. I just wanted to point out those things and see if if that helps or if the colors are still a sticking point. Really just trying to gauge how this process should go going forward.
Yeah, Chris Becker, I'm with the church. And I would say that we want to work with the county to make sure that it's appropriate color scheme and works well with what's going into the city or in the county. And so I think, when we worked on the materials and the colors, we looked at some of the properties close to us as well as what would match the current facility as well. And so like right across the street is Covenant Church and they have that white stucco all around with the red base. Next door is K-Tech and K-Tech has the red base with the tan, edges, molding. And so if we need to switch some of the colors, totally can understand that, but like we thought this worked well. And so we don't want to be an eyesore, but on the same side, we want to have something that's presentable for the county as well as for the church. So this was, first rendering that we did. And so we're willing to make some adaptations as needed, but we thought this was a good look for the church, but want to work. And I believe there are a lot of trees and stuff that are coming with the whole site plan that will help kind of block it from the road. And if you do know that area, the road is up high there. And so this is kind of a whole lot lower as you drive by that specific location. We did take a lot of features from the center, if you know the center, which was just built a few years ago, and we tried to incorporate some of those architectural features in there. And then Rio Point has a lot of kind of white and beige as well. So just kind of looking at the surrounding larger facilities and kind of utilizing those color schemes to kind of be in conjunction with them as well.
All right, thank you. Guess we'll see if there are any questions for the applicant, starting with Dade.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for your remarks and observations about the vicinity and the context. I guess, are there any other colors that you've considered in response to staff comments that you think might be suitable both for the project and as a response to those?
Haven't looked specifically, but as I just took pictures today, kind of looking at local ones, and just the Rio Point has like white on the top with some beige in the middle. So maybe there's some architectural features that could be mixed in with the white, possibly something like that. And I could see where the roof potentially matching the current one or something similar would be maybe something that would be more helpful. So it's not so stark.
Thank you. And thank you for the observation about the windows. Have you given any consideration to any other elements of relief in the and the reveals, any other elements of relief in the facade that might be achievable?
Not particularly. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, no, thank you. Those are my two questions. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks. Frank Stoner.
I don't have any questions. Thanks.
Right. Taro.
I just had two questions. The first, so is this like a pre-manufactured steel building?
Yes.
And so are there like structure?
Well, yeah, it's pre-engineered.
Pre-engineered, sorry.
Pre-engineered metal building.
Yeah, right. Pre-engineered metal building. Are there any like horizontals or anything? I saw that there's a braced portion. Are there any other structural? No,
Well, it's on a column grid that's, I think it's about 22 feet on center or something like that. And then, there'll be girts, horizontal girts. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. I'm wondering like what what your constraints you're operating under
Oh, yeah.
in terms of
okay,
openings in the wall and that sort of thing.
So there's going to be some diagonal braces in a few different places. There's going to be horizontal girts. Um, Yep, typical pre-engineered metal building constraints.
Okay.
To the left of the screen, closest to the church, that's there's kind of a mezzanine level above there. So there's offices which are reflected in those windows that you see up there. Offices and some classrooms and open area. And we probably would have been good if we showed them a picture of the other side because we have a nice little patio and kind of like a little porch feature over there.
Great. I think that's all my questions.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, Frank?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any questions either. Are there any members of the public that want to make a comment?
Not at this time.
All right. So the ARB will now go into discussion. I guess we'll start with Taro, if you have any comments.
Thanks. Appreciate you coming forth for the first early ARB application. I think, given the proposed use and the sort of intended program of the building, like I understand that from that perspective, there are limitations on the extent of relief that can be applied. I do think that there's something going on in terms of the appearance of blankness in the fact that the openings are sort of set at like a 7-foot height, and it seems that, or 7 or 8 foot height. And my sense is that that accentuates the space above those openings. I could imagine that like a transom or something over the openings in the first story could help to sort of just achieve a little bit better proportion of that area above. And I can't imagine it would be a super significant cost, but it could add, I think at least it would be consistent with what I think are the details on the existing building. And I think it would help to like mediate the scale of this gym to the scale of like it would make the actual entrances appear more prominently, which I think could help. I also think that this doesn't necessarily show the tree plantings. I think if there's a way to manipulate the parking lot layout to increase the number of trees, that could also be somewhat helpful. But as far as the color, I could see an argument for making the roof colors consistent. I'm open to options on the facade color. I don't have a significant take on that one way or the other. But for me, I think just the perception of scale and the maybe making those openings a little bit taller might help the project a little bit, and I don't think would be too big of a change either way. So and thanks for the application and thanks for coming forth. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Frank Hancock?
Sure. Yeah, thank you for your application. And really appreciate your presentation and your thoughts. Specifically, I think context. It was really nice to hear that you were looking in the neighborhood. I would think I think to me, like the context would be more the church building on site. I do appreciate, what's in the neighborhood, how it matters, but just given the close proximity of this building to the church, maybe explore context, in that sense a little bit more. I do think, this is kind of maybe if this building could recede a little bit into the background, given its program, given kind of the formality of the existing church and just knowing this building type, I don't think it's going to be elevated to be, on par with that. So thinking how it's in harmony with that versus like, completely separate from it, I think would be something to think about. I do think this maybe is a visualization. Maybe just the visualization has got us so focused on the color. I do agree, like in this rendering, it doesn't feel appropriate. But I do think it's gonna have some trees that are gonna block it. You described the grade change. I know that sometimes that's hard to express in a rendering, but if that impacts how this is experienced from the entrance corridor, I think that would be worth exploring. And like Tara said, I think if there's any other opportunities to add trees in the parking lot that would help just break that up, I think that could be helpful. And then I think Tara made some excellent comments on kind of the ground floor openings and what to do there. And I like that, how that could relate back to the church. But I appreciate your willingness to kind of have this dialogue and offer your pretty candid thoughts. I think those gives us a lot to work with. So thank you.
All right, thanks. Dade?
Yeah, thank you as well for your presentation and attendance. And I agree with what Frank and Taro have observed. I think the building is well sited. I think the overall mass is appropriate and, it relates well to the existing building. So I think really we're really focused on materiality and scale. So I agree with staff's comments about color. And like Frank, I think in terms of the overall composition of the site and the prominence of the church, thinking about how this addition might not be much brighter or visually prominent than it, but how it might be more, I think use the word harmonious, compatible or recessive even to it, just to keep that in the forefront, would be worth considering. So I think different, more muted colors and potentially darker ones relative, not darker or similar tones relative to the church so that it doesn't pop as much visually, which again might be the visualization as folks have observed. I do think there, at least in this visualization, is a great deal of blankness in the bays between the double doors to the gymnasium. And if it were possible to create any extra detail in that area of the facade, I think it could help to mitigate that, whether that's creating recesses or even, as you're considering the coloration of the building, if there's subtle differences in coloration that imply bays or recesses or others is another strategy that's sometimes used on these facades. The other devices, you do have a canopy in the project. If a canopy were of benefit on that long facade, it could do a great deal to break up that height and scale. I think Tara's observation about the subtleties of how high the openings are and whether there are transoms are good ones. I think the height of the canopies that are proposed, which seem quite high, might be another factor that's contributing to that. So I don't know whether if those canopies were lower, that would help mitigate the scale. So those are observations, comments, and thank you for your time today.
All right, thanks. Frank?
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I concur with everybody else and their observations, thoughts. I think the church is the focus architecturally on site. And so I would agree that it would be helpful for this to be a bit more recessive. I think maybe a roof color change helps unify, and then color on the siding and the other items that have been mentioned about the transom and the height of the canopy all make sense. I mean, I think black is okay. It kind of ties into the black on the doors of the church. I think the siding is appropriate. So, maybe you could do trellises, on the large blank sections of the wall as an option, just to provide a little more buffer from, the starkness of that white. Yeah, so.
All right, thanks. I totally agree with everything that's been said. I think and I kind of agree with staff's assessment that I think even though I'm not opposed to white normally, I think in this situation it is coming off as a little bit too much of a contrast between the existing church and the new addition, which is a pretty big mass. And even though I think it is appropriately sized and cited as has been mentioned. I think that white color is just like making it seem that much bigger and more contrasting. And I think even simple matter of making it a more kind of neutral color would really help make it recede a little bit. But yeah, so that's about all I've got.
Our recommendation is just the list of comments and recommendations to be addressed with the next submittal. We've all made several comments and some details. We can do more detailed minutes for this discussion. I think that might be helpful for the applicant.
Okay. Beyond that, does anyone have any tweaks or anything to any of the items?
Yes, for item 1, it talks a lot about the color change. I don't know whether there was a fair amount of discussion about finding some elements or adjustments to modify the scale and blankness of the middle portion of the facade, or is that already addressed in a separate?
It's in number 7, but I agree that, you know, number 2, like this would be more architecturally. I feel like number 7 is talking about landscaping as a way to blankness.
I guess when we say modify the scale,
Maybe it would be blankness, more
Or
just
just-
scale, but.
modify the scale of the blankness. I can't really modify the scale of the building.
Yeah, it's not the building, it's more the, yeah. I guess it'd be reduce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want more blankness.
Totally.
Got a double R there.
Could I suggest consider modifying the heights of canopies and openings? 'Cause I think Dave, you were right. Also, the heights of some of the canopies are probably contributing to that perception of it being taller than it really is.
Right, there are some elevation.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Right,
What's
yeah, the
driving that, I
sidewalk
think.
from the church slopes down and then, yeah, so there's some elevation things to deal with, but I'm sure we can tweak it as best as we can.
Yeah.
It would help too if we could have a little bit of clarity on the traction of the vegetation versus the architecture. Because the vegetation plan does have some larger elements that I think would break it up better. You know, we can certainly, we're going to talk afterward about transoms and trellises and, you know, further colonnade features or whatever, but the ARB guidelines specifically pointed out vegetation as a way to break up blankness. So I'm just wondering, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much that is important compared to the architectural elements.
I'll take a pass at it. I don't know, but I think, so I think in this case, in terms of the blankness of that facade, it could be vegetative elements or architecture. I think, well, trellises are sort of a combination of both, right? Especially if there is a climbing plant on them. Yeah, I didn't look like in the site plan there was dimension to add, for example, ornamental trees directly in front of the facade. But I think the vegetation or architectural features, at least from my perspective, should ideally be quite proximate to that blankness in order to break it up, so that the ones in the parking lot, at least for me, don't have that effect.
Okay, thank you. That helps.
Well, I think if the island, we're advocating for an additional island right in front of that would qualify as an element to break up blankness. I would think, right? So you wouldn't necessarily have to address the portion behind the tree or that the tree is going to block. It becomes,
We do have some other renderings. I don't know if they're available or not, but the one that was pulled up, I don't think shows all of the, like the official landscaping features that were in the civil plan. I may not have them either. Yeah, it looks like I don't have them right in front of me, but yeah, for the next submission, for sure, we'll show those better.
So this is the landscape plan that was included in the initial site
it
plan that was
doesn't
reviewed.
show these trees, doesn't show that tree or that one.
Yeah.
I think to the extent the facade is pretty highly ordered and has that structural bay, I think if vegetation, if you wanted to pursue a vegetation route, one option might to consider would be, locating trees that reinforce that and aligned with it. I think the number there probably wouldn't, but
I would
Can
note.
you
there's
repeat
just-
that? You said reinforcing the,
the structural rhythm of on the one, parking lot trees, if located, could screen the building, but for example, if there were ornamental trees, on the structural bay in the center of each, in front of the blankness, that would be another way.
I could also see like some lamp posts or something, like a series of lamp posts that reinforce that rhythm.
They could. I don't know that they would address the blankness as much as.
Really big lamp.
I do think it's important to note that the elevation change here, because it is substantially lower than Rio Road. So as you look, if you're driving on Rio and you look over, it mitigates some of the impact of the wall because it's that much below the road.
Yeah.
The roof's going to be more prominent, quite honestly, than.
Yeah, that's a good observation, Frank.
Yeah.
And if you are preparing other visualizations, that might be a helpful view for your.
Well, thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so any additional changes or additions? No?
No. I'll make a motion to provide the applicant with the comments listed in the staff report, amended as follows to be addressed for the next submission. To add an item 2 and an item 3. Item 2 to reduce the blankness of the elevation that faces the entrance corridor, and item 3 to consider modifying the heights of the canopies and openings.
I'll second.
All right, thanks. If we could put it to a vote.
Mr. Stoner,
Aye.
Mr. Hancock,
Aye.
Mr. Matsuno,
Aye.
Mr. Henningsen,
Aye.
and Mr. Vanderworth.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, so we do not have any work session items today. So our next order of business is approval of the December 8th, 2025 minutes. If anybody,
So moved.
all right, I'll second that. We could put that to a vote.
To get in there.
Mr. Stoner,
Aye.
Mr. Hancock,
Aye.
Mr. Matsuno,
Aye.
Mr. Henningsen,
Aye.
and Mr. Vanderworth.
Aye.
All right, thanks. Do any board members or staff have any other items for discussion?
No.
Any questions or anything? I mean, we have the room for another like 21 minutes.
Are we gonna try to really?
We can-
bring it to the wire on this one.
We have a meeting on Monday.
Funny at that.
The next meeting is January 5th.
Okay.
That will be the annual meeting, so we'll be adopting, or readopting your bylaws and appointing chair and vice chair.
Mark, any idea when we get back to the corridor specific guidelines?
Mariah is working on those replacement photos. So work is going along. It's just slow as we're trying to get to the end of the form-based code work as well. I don't have a specific date for when we'll get back to you, but we are aware that you really want to see it and we really want to bring it to you. So
All right, well, thank you. So as Margaret said, the next ARB meeting is scheduled for Monday, January 5th, 2026. Are there any board members who will not be able to attend that?
I will not be able to attend.
All right, so looks like we'll have four, so
Great.
Frank, do you have any issues being vice chair in your absence?
No, I missed this meeting. My father-in-law schedules a trip every year at this time that I go on. Excited to go on, for the record. But I accept any nomination or anything that
Price you
the
forget-
board puts forward.
any nomination.
Any nomination, all right.
Because I'm not here. Yeah. So, and this is the third year, I think, in a row I've done that, so I'm definitely accepting any nomination. Or no nominations, except that.
Sounds good.
All right. In that case, this meeting is adjourned until our next meeting on Monday, January 5th, 2026, and it is 1:41 by my watch. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah, we won't see you till the new year.
Yeah.
Less.